I've gotten a lot of questions about what am I doing, a lot of suggestions as to what I should be doing. And so this will be a video about the things that I've been doing. This is now my third stress fracture. So these are sort of the things that I practice when in this unfortunate predicament that I think are pretty high value, some higher than others, but a lot of good value things to try and heal as quick as possible and as thoroughly as possible. But my intuition on day literally 2 in my notes of this injury was, I said, I'm 50-50 chance I have a sacral stress fracture right now. That was day 2. And if I could go back, I would completely immobilize the area. I would go on crutches for at least a week. You know, early on in a fracture, you want to do your best to immobilize it because the early stages of bone growth is like very sensitive. And so that's the number one thing I would do if I could go back, was I would immobilize it completely. But the initial phase though, you will heal quicker and more thoroughly if you immobilize the area and allow the early stage bone growth to begin. And I didn't really do that well, either of my injuries now, and I wish I would have, and wish I could. 100%. That is right now in my training, 8 hours, 55 minutes.
That's insane.
Last year, how many times do you think I slept knocking on the door at 9 hours?
I would guess that you never did once.
I don't know if I did a single time. I could go back and verify that, but it would be no more than 3 times the entire year. Sleeping like absolute shit for nearly a decade, that's a pretty big warning signal in this game. Up until literally I discovered energy deficiency and eating and changing the way that I eat, what I eat, which what I mean by that is I eat most of my calories now during the day while I'm doing the exercise and the energy expenditure. And I don't need to catch up at the end of the day. That's the predominant thing that I've changed. So last night I stopped eating at 6:58 p.m. and I didn't eat again until almost 7:30. So I was over 12 hours fast, and I'm sleeping like knocking on the door of, in memory anyway, I wouldn't say lifetime best, but in memory, which my memory for sleep stems back at least the entirety of my triathlon career, 15 years, the best that I've slept.
A lot of people told you that you should look into red light therapy and a bone stimulator.
Well, I just so happen to have the red light therapy going. Hi Levi, how you doing, buddy?
So
just
you
did
are
20
doing
minutes on the red light device, got it off thefeed.com. There is evidence to support red light therapy for tissue regeneration and healing and blood flow, etc., etc.
So this is just a strap you can put on?
Yeah, and it's very targeted as I put it right on the sacral area. At the very least, it serves as a nice relaxation technique. So I'm trying to do literally every possible thing I can find to speed up healing and make the healing as, let's say, thorough as possible, so that when I do get back to training, I can get back pretty quickly, pretty hard, and let's get back to it.
So you're doing strength work now?
I think strength work, in the past, I've chalked strength work up as too much risk for the potential reward. But now, under, obviously being injured with a bone injury in particular, I would say that's something now, especially I'm also, as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more aware of like long-term health and things that are going to allow me to maintain the way I like to live for a long time. And strength, I think, is probably, strength and aerobic fitness are like the two big things to maintain your ability to move well for a long time. So yes, it also has potentially the bone aspect and the tendon aspect of strengthening.
How many times a week are you lifting?
Right now I'm doing 2 times a week. So I think that's, for me, that's a good. 3 would probably be getting into like not absorbing it territory with the swimming and the biking and potentially the running in the near future here. And so that's good for me. And the nice part is I've stayed consistent with it now for quite a while. That I lifted personal best in the deadlift and the squat yesterday, and I basically have no soreness. So I'm progressing, but I'm also like able to do my other sports too still.
We go we take it down. Let's spice it up.
Every time I get injured, I get into, which is massage and like physical therapy type work, because certainly a contributor to these types of injuries is tight muscles and, let's say, reduced range of motion, putting unnecessary stress on bones. And so manual therapy definitely has a positive effect on, let's say, muscle tone and range of motion if you do some active release type stuff. And so now I'm back on my once or twice weekly massage. These are all marginal type things, right? That even if it gets you 1% better, for me, making a living doing this, getting back, a couple days earlier is only going to help my long-term goals. So, is massage something, if you have the means, that you should work in? Absolutely. Muscle tone, even central nervous system type relaxation stuff is all only going to help recovery and lessen the burden of especially the weight-bearing activities like running.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Recovery shake.
Very important piece of the puzzle now. Normally I would come home and basically not really eat anything, or not really have a big breakfast either.
But why? Because you just didn't want to?
I wasn't very hungry, yeah. But which can be sort of a symptom of energy deficiency, if you can believe that, because it starts to downregulate hunger hormones. Now I log the calories that I burn as well as that I consume, and so in doing so, I've found that my old tendency was to basically eat very little throughout the day, burn a lot throughout the day, and then have this massive deficit that had to be somewhat overcome with dinner, which rarely would be overcome with dinner. So then you're in a chronic deficit. So now, the big thing I've learned and that I'm practicing is staying on top of the eating as I'm burning it, mainly in the day, getting most of my nutrition in by 4 o'clock so that I don't have this massive reliance on dinner and snacks and, processed garbage right before bed. More on that next week, though, in a fully dedicated nutrition video or eating video.
For you, go for you, go for you. Do you feel the way that I feel now? Don't set breeze, get closer to me now. God, I wanna feel good.
All right, it's really hot in here.
Sure it is.
80% humidity and 81 degrees.
Yeah, I guess it's not that hot, but it's very humid. It's a greenhouse.
What's the point of doing this?
The rationale here is that I want to give the joints, muscles, bones, less mechanical load, but I still want to provide a decent cardiac and metabolic stimulus. One way to do that is to increase the heat and humidity. I would say at this combination, my heart rate is about 10 beats higher at a constant mechanical load, power. If you're gonna employ this, definitely not till later in the healing process. And very important to eat adequately and drink a ton, because those other stressors, dehydration and energy deficiency, could be very, let's say, counterproductive for healing.
I'll say this is the wildest one, because I've seen you for quite a while, and I don't think I've ever seen you taking a vitamin.
Well, I'm definitely a proponent, and you should have a reason, and you should have a goal that you're trying to achieve. I might do a partnership with this company, but I've been doing now, since this injury, I've been doing regular blood testing, and it just comes to your house and you can just do it yourself. Takes your blood, goes out in the mail, you get the readings, and my vitamin D is low, my iron is low. Another thing, which you don't have it out here, I don't think, that I've been doing as well is the magnesium, because I learned actually through, and the company's name is Rhythm, by the way, Rhythm Health. I learned that potentially, because my vitamin D is so low, even though I live in the sun, it could also be a magnesium issue. Could be even more likely a magnesium issue. So this is a double positive in that there's some evidence that it can help relax and sleep better and these sorts of things. So I've been taking a scoop of that before bed. The iron, Aaron's a vegetarian, been a vegetarian for like 7 or 8 years now. So I don't eat very much meat. Up until very recently, until I discovered smoothies, I also didn't eat much green vegetables. And so my iron actually is very low, which whatever, like I didn't seem to be having problems in that department, but it's low. So we're going to try and get them higher. And then eventually I won't have to take these, at like a really high dose or anything. Just maintenance, which is kind of the nice part about doing a regular, let's say, full panel blood test, just to make sure everything is looking good for an athlete trying to achieve high performance, their absolute personal best. And so that's something that I will continue forever now. And so, yeah. And then a multivitamin, of course, is just in case you're missing something, some sort of a micronutrient, if you're missing it because you don't eat. I don't really like vegetables and stuff, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I don't like vegetables. I like French fries. But, so I'm not going to eat a ton of vegetables. It's never going to be a big thing for me because I just don't like them. I like blending things into a smoothie, though. I can handle that. But in case you're missing something, a multivitamin as well.
Some other people mentioned you should get a bone stimulator
Did they?
in the comments.
Did they really?
Yeah, they really did.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, a bone stimulator, if you have the means, bones heal themselves. Is there some evidence potentially that this can help speed up healing? Maybe. Does it provide a placebo effect? Definitely. So yes, I'm using it. I'm on this is 50 of 50. Haven't missed a day. 50 of 50 days.
So that only works a certain amount of time.
I believe in America it is 270 days and then it shuts off. Never to be used again. So that's what the technology is. You can research it. There's definitely evidence that it works. I don't necessarily know if there's much studies on if it works when you're already healing well. It stimulates the stuff that causes bones to regenerate.
Even though it's still 110
10 outside. You're
You can start off here for a quick cool down.
you're still doing hot tub.
Yeah. Hot tub. I actually had kind of stopped doing hot tub a bit leading into this injury, but I'm a pretty tight person. So anything you can do to loosen up, especially once it's recovery time, i.e. after training, I think you should do it. So when I have the hot tub, you know what I mean? I have the heater. Then take your shirt off here, pal. I think hot tub for me is a very good. My injuries. I think obviously we've talked lots about the nutrition side, but then the tightness is a big thing. So anything I can do to be just loosening up, letting the muscle tone reduce, is beneficial. So for me, the hot tub's a big piece of the puzzle that I won't abandon anymore. Why did I abandon it? It was mainly just laziness.
So that's 10 things.
I'm doing 10 things concurrently every day. The big piece of the puzzle here, like with some of the more, I'm sure there's more things I could be doing, but the reality is consistency is king. And so, like with the red light therapy and with the bone stim and with the hot tub, these are things that, like, they're not really going to do much if you do it once or do it once a week or something. They're sort of a cumulative thing, and doing it every day could be a percent. You add up a couple percents and now all of a sudden you're healing better and faster and you're getting back in action quicker, and at the very least you're having a placebo effect that makes you feel like you are contributing to the healing process. What? Bugs. Oh, there's one right there, buddy. Ant. See him? And there's your old Band-Aid too from the last time we were in.